Sometimes in our program, we may need to know how many records are there in a binary file. And for this purpose, we can use the function ftell. Ftell returns the number of bytes written up to the file pointer position. So when we open the file in read mode, then the file pointer is actually at the beginning of file. So now if I apply the function ftell right now, it's going to return the value 0 because now the file pointer is at the very beginning of the file. So let me declare a long variable in order to hold the size. So now if I call the ftell function, we need to pass the file pointer. Let me print the value of size. It's going to be 0 in this case. Let me go ahead and run this program. You can see that size equals to 0. Now if I move the file pointer at the end of file using fseek, then again I will apply the function ftell. Then it's going to return the total size of the file. So in order to move the file pointer at the end of file, it should be 0L and then 2. That's the offset position for end of file. I have told about fseek in the last tutorial. So now again I am applying the ftell function. So now this time, since the file pointer is at the end of file, so it's going to return the total size of the file. So let me go ahead and run the program. You can see that it's 40 bytes. We are using the same file data.bin that was written in the earlier tutorial while I described how to write binary data into file, and it's there in this folder. You can see that data.bin, and the content of the file is 40 bytes. So the program is also reading 40 bytes. Using ftell, we are doing that. Now, using this information, the size of file, we can find out the number of records in the file as well. So if n is an integer variable, then we can just divide the size with the size of each record. Each record in this file is double, so I'm dividing with size of double. So that's going to get us the number of records in the file. So in this case, it's going to be 5 actually. So that's how we can find out the number of records dynamically using ftell. Move the file pointer at the end of the file, apply ftell, you will get the total size. Then divide the size by size of each record. If it is binary file, then size of each record is fixed. So you'll get the number of records in the file. And then you can allocate some data structure dynamically in order to hold the values from the file. So let me go ahead and run the program. So here you can see that the number of records 5. Now using this information, the number of record, we can just declare the data array in order to hold the content of the file in this way. Let me declare a pointer, and then we can just malloc in order to allocate the data array. Multiplied with n. So this is going to allocate the provision for n records, and that we are doing dynamically. So in this way, we actually allocate the required data structure in primary memory for holding the value from the file. Now we can just apply fread. Before that, I need to move the file pointer back to the initial position. That means beginning of the file position. It should be 0L. 0. That moves the file pointer at the beginning of the file, and then we can just apply fread in order to read the content of the total file. So it's going to be void pointer and then data, the base address of the allocated space, then size of double. We need to read n records. N is now the number of records and the file pointer. So let me just print the content of the data array, and that's going to be the content of the file actually. So I starts from 0, it should go up to n less than n and I plus plus, and I'm printing the content of the array here. At the end, I'm closing the file. So we are done. Now in this case, the file Number of records in the file is actually determined dynamically, and the data structure is allocated dynamically, and we use the function ftell. So here we go. You can see that the content of the file is actually read, and they are kept in the dynamic array. So that's how we use ftell function in order to find out the number of records in the file. For malloc function call, you should use the header #include stdlib.h. That's necessary. Okay, now we can go ahead and run the program once more, because earlier it was a warning there due to that. Okay, so you're done. We can use the ftell function in order to read the content, in order to read the size of file, and using that information we can find out the number of records in a file. Thank you.